preservation of pure culture, right? When you are able to separate out the particular microorganism from the mixed culture, now the main task it is how to preserve it, how to store it safely, since it is having a lot of nutrient material, because it is in nutrient media, and it is single, first of all it is single community or single society where there is chances of attack or contaminate by the other types of microorganisms, since we know that the entire world it is full of microorganisms only, and they may be travel here and there, depend on to their habitat, depend on to their suitability and the favorable environment. So when we are not preserving them properly, definitely we are going to lose our microbes which we have separated already, right? So let us discuss how to store them, how to preserve them, right? To maintain pure culture for extended periods in viable condition without any genetic changes is referred as preservation, right? Preservation, it means, it doesn't mean that we are going to make the changes onto them, into their cellular things or into their other physiological and anatomical what you call structure. We are not going to interfere anything, but at the same time we want them to viable condition. Viable means they should be in a living condition, they should be alive, right? Until and unless we are preserving them, the number of cells, the quality of the cells, and the metabolism and all the living process of the particular cells should be remains as it is, right? They should not face any difficulties during the preservation period, right? In that way we have to maintain the pure culture. During preservation, most important factor is to stop microbial growth or at least lower the growth rate. It's nothing but population, right? So here we have cultured we have isolated the particular microorganisms. Now they are going to do the life cycles, their life span, their life process, it will, because they, when they want to be alive, they are going to use the nutrients which you have provided in your nutrient media. When they will use the nutrients, they will do the metabolism, right? Metabolites it is going to create. When the metabolism takes place, they are going to release the waste materials, because when metabolism digestion it will be there, definitely there will be the excretion or the outcomes. So that will be accumulated, and other life process, like for example reproduction, replication, and depends on the microbial cell. So at the same time, in during the preservation we need to stop the growth rate. That's what, or at least we can slow it. If you not do so, what will happen? Your the dishes what you have kept over there, that will not be sufficient, and the as soon as time will complete, the population will increase and it will be difficult for you to manage them, right? Because we don't know how long we are going to preserve it, depend on to the study how it is going on and how long it may go on, right? So that's what these things we have to important factor it has given, like to stop the microbial growth or at least lower the growth rate. These two things we need to take care about. Due to these toxic chemicals, due to the these toxic chemicals are not accumulated, and hence viability of microorganism is not affected, right? So that's what the here the main thing is the whether they're alive or not, because of the toxic chemicals which they will release, it is not going to accumulate, so it will not affect the microorganism growth, right? So that's what that is also one of the. So what is the basically, what are the aims, or what is the intention, or what is the objectives of preservation? Why we are only we want to study them, or is there any other requirement that we are going to discuss here? So basically, scientifically, these are to maintain isolated pure culture for extended period in a viable conditions, whatever the time, 10 days, 20 days, 50 days, right, 2 months, 3 months, whatever the time period you want to preserve them, they should be in a live condition, then only you're going to study, right? That's what now also the coronavirus also has been preserved in so many laboratory wherever, like we can say the example Serum Institute of Technology here and Bharat Biotech, they are having, they have preserved because they need to keep on study what is the variants, what are the, how the mutation it is taking place, how the genetic changes it is taking place, all those things. So that's what they should be alive, then only they are able to study them properly into our laboratory to avoid contaminations. At the same time, sir, suppose if you talk about the, well, let us not talk about the virus, if you talk about the bacteria also, very easily they are going to contaminate. That's what whatever the media we have provided, it is that itself, it is attractant, right? When you are throwing some sugar onto the floor or any chocolate, if you will chocolate pieces, if it will be fall down, what will happen? All the housefly, ants, and other insects, they will come up because the, that is sweet in taste, and it is attractant for the insects and other small life, right? Same way here, when we are culturing, we are providing all the peptone, agar, water, many things that we have seen into the nutritional requirement of the microorganism. So that itself is food for the microbes. So obviously, when they will get the chance, they will come to eat that, right? So that's what contamination chances it increase. That's what we need to preserve them in a proper way. The third reason or third objective of preservation, to restrict genetic mutation, right? So the mutation, it's a very common phenomenon when it comes to the small life or when it comes to the microorganisms, right? So it's not that today we are seeing the delta 1, delta 2, 3, 4, or all the variants of the COVID-19. It is not like that. The variation, the mutation, it is right from the beginning when the earth started and earth found its presence into life. That's what, without mutation the life process itself cannot run properly. Right from the beginning, you might be also knowing that we were previously the monkey, and our that former people, they used to be the monkey, and slowly the our variant also came, right? That's what today we are having the latest version of the human being, and we don't know after 50 years and after 100 years what will be the our variant. So mutation, it is the what you call one ongoing process of the natural process. Let me tell you, maybe the different factors it may be involved. So when we are studying particular microorganism, when we have isolated particular microorganism, we want them to study in as they are right now, right? So that we can get the proper idea about the anatomy and physiology of that microbial cell, and so that we can go for the antimicrobial and all those preparation to against to kill the microbes, or how to use that particular microbe. So that is the theme of the preservation. Why to preserve bacteria? What is the benefit? Let me explain you that what is the benefit of the particular preserving the bacteria. In nature, there are only 1% of bacteria which is pathogenic and harmful to animalia and plantae, right? Only 1% of bacteria that is going to be the any kinds of damage or any kinds of pathogenic condition it is going to create. That is only 1%. That's a very small percentage actually, right? Remaining 99% of bacterial populations are of economic importance for human being and plants, right? Let's understand that's what, how they are economically important, how we are going to use them. The human being can use them for the their purpose, and for the plants also we could see that so many bacteria, nitrogen fixing bacteria, and it is a part of the their nutrient, plant nutrient, right? First of all, so plants also, they are depending onto the bacteria. We are also depending onto the bacteria, like E. coli is the very good example that will be there in our intestine. So our body is full of bacteria, let me tell you, like without that we are not able to survive, we will die immediately, right? It's not like that. So in soil for nutrient uptake in food industry, in sewage treatment, in medical industry, right? So that's what I told you, the importance of microbiology when we were discussing or scope of microbiology that day also I told you, right? So in soil there are so many like Azotobacter, Rhizobium, all those name of the bacteria, you know, that they will be there into the soil, and the plant, they required plant also required the nitrogen, and that nitrogen they are getting from those bacteria, because those bacteria are fixing the atmospheric nitrogen onto them, and that will be given to the plants, right? So that's important, that we cannot do, and that's what the nature has to do. That's what we need to preserve. We need to identify those particular bacteria, those who are playing the role there. In sewage treatment also, it's not completely based on the equipments and machineries. We cannot do that, right? We ultimately we need to send this force. Let me use the word force. Force means bacterial force. Those are having the capability to the what you call the decomposition and contamination they will do, and ultimately naturally those sewage can be filtered, that sewage can be treated properly. And medical industry also, we know that a lot of bioreactors we are supposed to have, lot of vaccinations we are preparing, vaccination, sera, and all those things, right? There the antibiotics, tetracycline, beta lactam antibiotic, penicillin, all those things we know very well, those are because of microorganisms only. So the preservation of bacteria is one of the most profitable practice economically, yes, as well as environmentally also. That's what sewage treatment, wastage treatment, that we have seen already into the previous classes. So preservation method of bacteria, basically that we want to discuss here. After isolation, how to preserve that individual bacteria or that individual microbes, right? Then periodic transfer to the fresh medium, the first one. The second method, that is the storage at low temperature. The third method, that is the storage in sterile soil. Then fourth method, preservation by overlaying culture with mineral oil, right? Then lyophilizations or freeze drying, all these things you might have already studied, maybe studied into the Sutix also, lyophilization that we are doing, right? So preservation, it's very, very important here when it comes to the drug, or when it comes to the microorganism, when it comes to the medicinal plants also, right? Or let us take your food items also, right? Whenever you are preparing chicken curry or mutton curry or special dish, you don't want to eat immediately. Suppose if you want to preserve them, you are keeping into the refrigerator, you are boiling your. So that's what, right? Let me discuss with this, sir. The periodic transfer to fresh medium, right? Why we need to transfer to the fresh medium? That's what we need to change the media. That's what they will be able to continuously getting the food items from the strains or the species of the bacteria can be maintained by periodically preparing a fresh culture from the previous stock culture, right? Because food items are limited, what we have provided them. So we need to think about that, how we can periodically prepare that fresh culture, and we can transfer them. The culture medium, the storage temperature, and time interval. Three things: medium, temperature, and time interval at which the transfers are made vary with the species, right? How long, because how long we are going to preserve them, and what is the time duration, what is the type of microorganism, these things, this factor, it is going to vary from this area, right? The temperature and the type of medium, right? What is the temperature? Cool, hot, very hot, or type of medium, agar, beef, bread, potato, what is liquid, solid, semi-solid, that has been selected, should support a slow rather than a rapid rate of growth, right? It should support slow growth. That's what we don't want to make a lot of population over here, because we are preserving them. So that in that way also we need to think when we are going for preservation. Okay, slow rather than a rapid rate of growth, so that the time interval between transfers can be as long as possible, right? So that is the intention. Many of the more common heterotrophs remains viable or living condition for several weeks to several months on the medium like nutrient agar, right? So that's what heterotrophs are there. Those are the type of bacteria. They can be in living condition from the weeks to month. This is the big time period actually. The transfer method has the disadvantage of falling to the prevent changes in the characteristic of a strain due to the development of variants and the mutants, right? So here also there is a one problem, right? That's what they are failing to prevent the changes, right? The changes of whatever the mutation it is taking place, or the whatever the virus, sorry, or whatever the microorganism you have preserved, it may change, right? When you do the periodic transfer, it may change also, and from the day one what microbes you have kept over there, and after 2 weeks or 3 weeks it may not be the same one. So if your study, it is going to be again interfere or affected. So that is only the disadvantage with periodic transfer to fresh medium. Coming to the storage at low temperature, that is the another method of preservation of the particular bacteria, that is refrigeration. So one, first of all, refrigeration, all of we know that we can we keep them depend on to their what kind of bacteria it is. Pure culture can be successfully stored at 0 to 4 degrees centigrade, either in refrigerator or in the cold room, right? You need to think about that's what is the temperature requirement of the particular microorganisms, and if you are storing them into the low temperature, they will be able to survive. This method is applied to short duration, say for example 2 to 3 weeks for bacteria, and 3 to 4 months for fungi can be used, right? So that is the actually short duration. More than that we cannot. Okay, because the metabolic activity of the microorganisms are greatly slowed down but not stopped, right? So that is the reason of the refrigeration, how we have to. Thus the growth continues slowly and nutrients are utilized and the waste products released in medium itself, right? That's what they are doing, all their process over the medium, onto the medium, right? So that's what the result is finally the death of the microorganism, this result, right? So that's what if you are keeping, if you are increasing the duration, the time duration, what will happen, this problem we are seeing right from the beginning, because accumulation of the waste products and the consumption of the nutrients or the nutritional products and the reproduction, the increasing of the replication and all those things, they may be the challenging task when we are increasing the time. That's why there is a time limit also, right? And all the type of bacteria cannot be preserved by this method, right? This is the one of the method that here it is taken. Cryopreservation, that is the advanced version of the preservation, where we are going into the minus temperature actually, right? In plant cell also it will be useful, plant cells, and even for the animal cells, even for the nowadays cryopreservation, you might have seen that stem cell preservation also it has come, right? For the newly born baby, they are keeping the at the time of birth, certain cells will be there, can be collected over there, and that can be preserved for a long time, and later on it can be useful for the other life-threatening disease like stem cells therapy and all those things, cancer and all those things. It can be useful. So many that cell preservation banks they use, they will be coming whenever the new baby is going to born, right? So in that way, cryopreservation, it is nothing but freezing in liquid nitrogen at minus 196 degrees centigrade, or in the gas phase above the liquid nitrogen at minus 150 degrees centigrade, that helps survival of pure cultures for long storage times, right? So that's what, since it is in minus, and if for moreover nitrogen it is there, so what will happen, it will help with the for the survival of the certain microorganism who can survive at the below 0 degree, and this much minus temperature they can able to survive. In this method, in cryopreservation, the microorganism of culture are rapidly frozen in liquid nitrogen at 196 degrees centigrade in the presence of stabilizing agent like glycerol or dimethyl sulfoxide, DMSO. That what is the role of these two? That prevent the cell damage due to the formation of ice crystals and promote cell survival, because these two things we need to add because they are known as stabilizing agent. They are going to stabilize the cell or the surface of the cells which may damage because of the high temperature, because of the minus temperature and the ice formation and all those other reasons which may reduce the survival rate that they are going to helping the microbial cell. This liquid nitrogen method has been successful with many species that cannot be preserved by lyophilization. So this cryopreservation can be used when they are not able to preserve by lyophilization. Next we will discuss. Most species can remain viable under these conditions for 10 to 30 years. That's what I given you the example that newly born baby cell will be stem cell will be preserved 10 to 30 years of the age of the baby. The coding of that the cell pattern, it will be preserved without undergoing changes in their characteristics. However, this method is expensive. You need to pay for that, and for I'm telling in the terms of baby. So anything, any cells, it may be microbial cell, it may be human cell, it may be animal cell, whatever the plant cell, right? It can be preserved for the long time, right? Without changing. That's what the more important thing is, without undergoing changes in their characteristics. If the characteristic will change, means what is the use of what was the it was there in the 10-year or 30-year ago and now it is changed, means it is no useful. No, we cannot go for the certain therapy. Okay. So storage in sterile soil, that is also one of the techniques, right? Storing organism in soil fall into two groups, like sterile soil infested with a small amount of inoculum, immediately dried and stored in a refrigerator. That is one thing. Second thing, soil infested with the organism, then incubated, allowing the organism to grow. Incubation we have to do, and we are allowing the organism, the particular microbes, to grow. Thus the mycelium and propagative unit of second generation are preserved. So two things can be done here. So soil preservation method is useful for fungi, actually fungi. All the fungi can be preserved here, and by this method the actinomycetes are maintained in soil for 4 to 5 years, because it is natural habitat where they can survive, right? And there are several bacterial species which are also maintained in soil for several years, right? That's what, whenever what we are doing, when you want to preserve a fish in your different the aquarium. So what you are doing, you're keeping them in the water, or you're keeping them in the milk, or in some other pot or other cage. You are maintaining water, you are changing the water, you are seeing about the proper oxygen supply, you are giving the food, that food grains, that balls and all those things. So if you are preserving them in their natural habitat, they can retain for the long time. That's what. Preservation by overlaying culture with the mineral oil, right? Overlaying the culture with the mineral oil. What happened here? This is a simple and most economical method of maintaining pure culture, right? Simple and economic. So that is the advantage actually. In this method, what we do is sterile liquid paraffin is poured over the slant or slope, what is there, of culture, and store upright at room temperature. Okay. So this thing you need to remember here, sterile liquid paraffin. So this is, we can say this is acting as a preservative here, right? The layer of paraffin ensure anaerobic conditions and prevents dehydration of the medium. So medium also should be in a proper condition, right? So that's what it is playing a role as a preservative. In this condition helps microorganisms. It is supporting the microorganism or pure culture. What for? To remain in a dormant state, and therefore the culture can be preserved from months to years. That is varies with the species, what kind of variant, what kind of strain we are using for that, and the time duration, month to year, that much time. By adding this liquid paraffin, we can preserve them for the long time. So what is the advantage for this particular method of preservation? We can remove some of the growth. We can remove some of the growth under the oil with a transfer needle, inoculate the fresh medium, and still preserve the original culture, right? So these things we can do, right? We can under the oil, with a transfer needle, we can remove some extra growth, because unwanted growth, when we are preserving unwanted growth, we need to prepare, we need to remove time to time, otherwise it will be again problematic. The simplicity of the methods makes it attractive. It's a simple, that's what in first line itself we have discussed, the simple and most economical, right? So but changes in characteristic of the strains can still occur. So again here the small disadvantage, when we are preserving, there should not be any mutation, there should not be any changes onto the characteristic of the particular microorganism, because today we have cultured and we preserved, and after 15 days when we are going to study the particular same microorganism, when we will not get the same types of rod shaped or round shaped or whatever the shape we are supposed to study for the particular microorganism, its anatomy, its physiology, what is the use of preserving, right? That's what that is the reason, no? So coming to the next method of preservation, that is the lyophilization or freeze drying, right? That's what freeze drying means. Obviously here again we are going to maintain the cold, right, cool temperature. So freeze drying is a stabilizing process actually, in which a substance is first frozen and then quantity of the solvent is reduced, right? First by sublimation, that is the primary drying stage, and then desorption, that is the secondary drying stage. So here what happened, drying process is taking place, right? Sublimation and desorption. So these two things it is happening, and two step. Better preservation occur or found with freeze drying than with the other method, because freeze drying reduce the risk of intracellular ice crystallization. When we are going into the minus temperature, this much minus temperature, the problem it is for the crystallization, ice formation, and all those things that compromises viability, right? So ultimately the small life should be safe. That is only the intention of the preservation. Small life should be safe, and at the same time it should not change. Removal of water from the specimen effectively prevents this damage, right? Lyophilization is the greatest with the gram-positive bacteria, sporoformers, right? So gram-positive bacteria, for this type of bacteria, it is good one, and it decrease the gram-negative bacteria, but viability can be maintained as long as 30 years, right? So in case of negative gram-negative bacteria, it is decreased. It seems, right? So here the time duration it is 30-year lyophilization, right? That's also very big time. That's what we have seen into the cryopreservation also, and in the lyophilization also, right? These two techniques where it can be preserved. Large number of living cells or viable of dried microorganism can be stored with limited space. The area or the space it is limited, and organisms can be easily transported long distance at room temperature. That is the advantage actually, right? Suppose if any country it has got got about the anatomy first of all for the particular COVID-19. So they might have supplied to the other laboratory of the world, right? So when they will supply that particular virus, they cannot sending the images, sending the email, sending about the anatomy and visual, all the data or information can be transferred by the local this email and all those things. But the when the microbes, if it has to go to the lab, no, then only they can suppose if they are not able. So the long distance, that's why it can be easily transported long distance at room temperature. That's what the process combines freezing and dehydration. Organisms are initially frozen, right, in by this temperature, that and then dried, first frozen then dried by lowering the atmospheric pressure with vacuum apparatus, right? So pressure also we need to take care. If you reduce the pressure, automatically the cell is going to dry, but it is not going to die, it is only drying, right? Specimens can be connected individually to the condenser, that is one of the manifold method, right? Or can be placed in the chamber where they are dehydrated in one larger air space, right? So these all are the different what do you call places or boxes where they can preserve them. Lyophilization process, actually when we talk about it's a storage vials, right? The where the glass vials are used for the all freeze dried specimen. When freeze drying is performed in a chamber, double glass vials are used. Double glass, right? All of you have seen that different vials are in that way. So here in the chamber method, what happened here? Chamber method, when we talk about, an outer soft glass vial is added for the protection, the first layer, and the preservation of the dehydrated specimen. Silica gel granules are placed on the bottom of the outer vial before the inner vial is inserted, and the cushioned white cotton, right, with the cotton, right? That's what we need to cover. Then manifold method, what will happen here? A single glass vial is used here in this case, where the storage vial must be sealed to maintain the vacuum, because pressure also they have to create, right? It's not that how we have to do into the all our cold drinks and all those things. There will be the gas, the carbonate water and gas, so that it can be preserved. In that way, we need to maintain the vacuum and the dry atmospheric condition. Karyoprotective agents, two most commonly used agents are the these are the things we can use.
Sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Doubt, sir.
Tell me.
Sir, what are chiroprotective agents, sir?
Cariopreservative agent, right? Carioprotective agent. Yeah, yeah. In previous slide, in cariopreservation, I told you about glycerol and one more thing, right? What will happen when we are going into the minus temperature, too much minus temperature, to preserve the cell, any cell it may be. So what will happen? Ice formation it will create onto the surface of the cell. So when ice formation it will create, it may damage the surface of the cell. So to protect that particular cell, we are using some agent, some chemical, let me tell you, glycerol. So that glycerol or that agent or that chemical, it is called a karyoprotective agent. Right? Karyo means low temperature, means freezing, frozen. That's what here we are trying in lyophilization, in karyopreservation, in all this method. We are trying to go into the minus temperature, and we are trying to preserve or trying to keep safe the particular microorganism. Okay. So these are here you can see agents are there. Skim milk for the chamber lyophilization, then sucrose for the manifold lyophilization. So this sucrose, the skim milk, these are the agent. These are the karyoprotective agent. Okay, because simply we cannot keep the cell into the minus temperature for the long time. Since we have seen that we are going up to 30 year, we are going up to 10 year. So it's a long period of time, right? So during that time, Who is going to take care about your cell which you have preserved? It's not that it's not the fridge that tomorrow ice cream you have kept and today you are again opening and having one bite, again you are keeping, next day morning again having one bite. It is not like that. Preserved means once you have preserved means it will be safe for that much period of time, it will be locked for that much period of time. Okay, that's what we are using these things as a agent so that they will take care. Okay. Then what is the advantage of lyophilization? It is having certain advantage. Removal of water at low temperature, thermolabile materials can be dried, sterility can be maintained, and reconstitution is easy. But at the same time, it is having certain disadvantages also. Since it is lyophilization and it can preserve for a long time, even though it is having certain limits. So what are those limits? Many biological molecules are damaged by the stress associated with freezing, freeze drying, or both. Damage it is occur because of the cool temperature. That's what minus this much, right? So this process, the process of drying, cause extensive damage to molds. Those are fungus, right? The protozoa and most of the viruses, right? So here, when we are going for preservation, we need to take care about their safety of the microbial cell. That's important actually. If it will damage means what is the use of preserving? Hence, the microorganism cannot be stored by this method. The product is prone to oxidation due to the high porosity and large surface area. That's what, or therefore, the product should be packed in vacuum or using the inert gas. That's what. Okay. And the cost may be also one of the issue everywhere, right? Depending on to the products, how long and what is the cost of nitrogen and all those things. Cost is everywhere, it matters. Okay. So how we can conclude that after seeing the isolation and preservation of the specific or desired microorganism, we can say at last, since pure culture contain only one type of microorganism, yes, it becomes challenge to retain and store them safely, right? Because they are one community, right? They are one community, and there is a lot of factors we need to take care during the storage, right? The probability of contaminating some other species on the pure culture is greater probability, right? Since I told you the what the media we are using, where we are keeping the, because entire world everywhere there are the bacteria, there are the microorganisms, they may attack definitely. We can't predict when we are keeping them safely, right? So the probability it is greater if it will be cross contaminated by other microbes. It will be difficult to identify, and the purpose of the culture will lost, right? Ultimately, why we have cultured it, why we have isolated it, so that we can use them, we can study them, we can preserve them for a long time as a reference for the microorganism. Suppose if any other microorganism will come in future, we will be able to differentiate whether it is the same one or the different one. These are the intention of preserving, right? So that will going to loss. Separating a particular microbes and preserving it is very important task.